Okay, so the brand new blog post is called Hytale Creative Mode, and it starts off with Qatar saying, "Hello everyone, I'm the creative mode engineer on Hytale. I'm excited to show you more about the creative mode side. By swapping to creative mode in your world, you can fly around and explore, create, edit, make things explode, and more. We're focused on creating an immersive experience that feels uniquely Hytale while supporting all players and creators with the features they need. It's best explained visually, so here is our first video showcasing our creative tools that will be available for the upcoming early access." Then we get 20 minutes, 27 minutes of, oh my gosh. Okay, then we get 27 minutes of Hytale creative mode gameplay. And then we get another video here that's 5 seconds long, another video 36 seconds, another video that's 3 minutes and it looks like building. Okay, this is a lot to break down. We're going to have to review all of this. Let's check it out. Oh wow, okay, so there's a bunch of brushes. We see a bunch of brushes. I'm just gonna let this play, okay? I'm just gonna let this play and we can watch it. So ruined roof brushes, hot spring brushes, so it's brushes for different prefabs, it seems. Oh wow, look at that. So we've got a legend there that gives you the controls. What's this? Is a painter brush, so this is a brush for painting rocks, it seems. Wow, so this video is really going into all of the creative tools that we're going to get in Hytale. It's just showing us how we can paint the world and just display different things. Wow, look at that. So this is like a path generation block. Notice how it doesn't just create one set of blocks, it generates all of the grass around as well. Okay, wow. So this is kind of like the world edit function that they've got in the game. Oh, it looks so smooth. Wow, look how smooth it looks. Incredible, okay. Oh, I cannot wait to make some floating islands with this. The music's also really good as well. Man, okay, this is cool. I'm going to throw up hopefully the footage that isn't compressed by YouTube on the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing, but look at that. So they're just painting the world right here and creating paths like that just as they go. So this is going to be really easy. I mean, just within seconds. It's been like maybe a minute or two of watching. Wow, okay. Breaking down the blocks. You like to see it. Oh, this is fascinating. I'm going to up the volume just here real quick. Up the ambience. So there's different tools. You can see cylinder and different shapes there. Origin, mirror axis. So just a bunch of really useful tools for generating worlds and creating different environments very quickly. Like, imagine having to go down and place all of this block by block, but in here you can clearly see that it's very set up for you to just sort of craft and create, almost like, I'm trying to think like a tycoon or something almost. I actually got a bit of flack on Twitter because of how ridiculous my reactions were to the initial release of the gameplay. But wow, okay, so we can see a bunch of stuff here. Apparently I was saying that a lot. Apparently I was saying wow and oh my gosh, and that's crazy. You've got to understand, guys, I've been waiting for this game for 7 years, so just to see this footage is a lot for me. And it really means a lot, you guys supporting and watching the videos. Okay, so like just like that, he's created a prefab and then edited it slightly to actually have like a bit of a broken wall. Then you can undo, it seems, so there's an undo feature. So all just very well built-in tools that they probably had access to for years. They've probably been using this to build out the game for years, and this is now what we're going to get as players to actually utilize. Wow, how very interesting. Okay, so it seems like they're going to use the rubber tool now? Rubble brush. Okay, so it's a rubble brush, so it creates, look at that, a bunch of stones and things to just sort of like scatter around and layer on top of the pathways and the builds and stuff. I like how it shows you kind of like the area of effect as well with the kind of silhouette of what you're going to place. Usually in Minecraft World Edit, there's always an issue with like trying to figure out exactly where your brush is going to land when you're placing like a sphere or whatever the case may be. Wow, so this is brilliant. There's so much stuff going on here. Like, I mean, I'd like to see more of these, so there's more tools. This is what I want to see here, but I feel like what this video is we're going through a whole creation process, effectively, of some sort of land or some sort of prefab or some area, and it's just showing you kind of how easy it is to build your own little area or your own adventure map. Look at that. Okay, so now they're placing randomized prefab buildings, it seems. Wow, look at that. And okay, so there's literally like buildings that are in the shape of your brush. So if you have a square brush or a cylindrical brush, you can actually place down buildings that are in that shape. There, they just cleared their inventory on the chat. Use the chat there to get rid of the tools they have. Now it's going to the spawn NPC. So we saw this in the earlier footage. Are they going to click it? Oh, okay. So this is changing player models. This is actually going to change the player model, not actually spawning an NPC. We've seen evidence of this in other gameplay that you can do this, but it's great to see that they can just become a dog like this. Look at that. Look at that. You can just turn into one with its idle animation and everything. Oh, and it's running animation as well, so you can actually simulate just being an animal. Oh man, creative mode is going to be so cool. This alone, I feel like, is going to get people very, very excited. Look, just a flying dog. Just a Wow, think of the possibilities that there are going to be here as like actors in machinimas. And look at this. Okay, so there's world gen. We can see NPC prefabs, monuments, rock formations. Lots of different types of things to mess around with that we'll get access to. We're all going to get access to this we're all going to get access to this stuff. Okay, new clip. What are we showcasing here? A prefab selector tool and a set anchor tool. Okay, so we can see some particle effects happening. There's some different sets here that they're clearly going to show off some different effects, it seems. Interesting, okay. What are they doing? So they're selecting an area. It's kind of like they've got the brush tool here. They're selecting an area and they're setting an anchor point. So is this going to allow them to like move the chunk, or is it going to, what is it going to function as here? This seems like a barrier block. So this is our first time we're seeing like a Hytale barrier block, which looks quite cool. Fits in with the sort of Hytale blue theme, I guess. Wow, okay, slash copy. Oh, so they've copied 3,000 blocks. Okay, and they're about to p-edit. Oh, okay. So we don't see much of that clip. We didn't see much of what they were doing. Have they teleported maybe to... Okay, so the player is teleported back to their prefab world. Okay, interesting. Okay, so they've teleported back to the prefab world to... Oh, they've teleported back to the world where they're building stuff in, and they're pasting stuff down now, okay? There's a ruler tool, sculpt brush tool, laser pointer tool. What would a laser pointer tool be used for, I wonder? Maybe like pointing out to other players what type of... Like what part of the build you're talking about, or what you'd like to get fixed or improved. Wow, and just like that, you know, like rotating the prefab and placing it down, it looks so smooth. I mean, like we saw a new engine version of these tools, but this isn't far off kind of what that looked like effectively. And then you can just delete and replace it, and like you don't really need to worry, it seems, as much about like some of the you know, accidentally undoing too many times or doing too many like things where you can't undo it again to you know, to fix your mistake. And just like this, look, they've placed it down deep under the ground so that it kind of looks buried here. Man, this is great. Okay, what else are they gonna do in this footage? We are so... There's 20 minutes of footage. Okay, we've got a gun here. Ooh, add a new actor. So this looks like the filming tools. We've got the camera. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna get really excited, guys. You're gonna hear a lot of oohs and ahs and wows because I've been waiting for the machinima and editing tools that this game comes with for a long time. Years. Okay, so we can see camera position as it seems, and we can drag and drop them with this gun? Oh, okay, this is really cool. It almost reminds me of like Gmod. It reminds me of Gmod in a way. Okay, adding keyframes. So adding the camera path, so he's setting a camera path through this little like creation, this quarry, this, not a quarry, this archway that he's built. And I assume we're gonna fly through this pathway that he's making now soon. Oh, this gets me so excited. I'm so ready to make like a narrative or like some sort of really cool, really like, oh, I'm not sure, like just anything. Like I want to make a narrative series kind of like Game of Thrones, but in Hytale. Imagine releasing like weekly episodes. Okay, that was very fast camera. Oh, but look, he slowed it down. So initially it went very fast, but it seems like you can actually change the speed of which the camera's moving. Again, if you've worked in Minecraft, you'll know some of these tools, they'll feel familiar to you. This is definitely an evolution, though, of that. It feels like such a next step. Look at that, just the camera panning around and coming back to the player. Oh, this is brilliant. I'm having a blast, and I know so many people in the community right now that have probably got massive smiles on their face from seeing this. We did not think that we would get any machinima footage, just because that tab wasn't really explored in the footage they released last week. So it's great to see that they are prioritizing this. Look at the player flying there in the inventory screen. Okay, so we've got a new clip again now. Let's see what's going to be shown here. I can't believe I'm reacting to 27 minutes of Hytale footage in the big 2025. Okay, so obviously we've seen this from a prior clip that you can multiply your speed and sort of like zoom around the world and stuff. So this is the Zone 1 generation. Ooh, we can see mobs walking around there. Below there, it seems. Some naturally sort of wandering mobs. We will do a huge breakdown and analysis of this footage in the next video. Obviously, I want to get my raw reaction out first. I know that a lot of people really do want to see my reaction, like, sort of raw just to this footage. I've been waiting a long time for it, so it does kind of make sense. It's easier then for me to get a video out just covering that stuff, and then I can go back and work with my editor to finally get out something to finally get like a detailed breakdown out of the overall blog post. Okay, so we see a sheep sort of wandering around and a skeleton here. Man, just showing off some of the world and what it's like to be in creative mode. I love this. I was really scared when Simon said that we were going to get a creative blog post if it was literally just going to be like 5-second clips of the creative menu. But we're really just getting like full, this is what it's like in creative mode experiences. Okay, so another new clip. He's got the paintbrush tool again now. So let's see what he's going to use it on. He's going to draw a line of rocks, it seems. Man, I'm so excited. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, obviously in the next video, I'm going to sound all informed about the clips and everything, but this is like this is the moment between. This is the moment where I have no idea what's happening. Okay, so, you know, effectively just a lot of tools being used right now. You can vary the width of your brushes and the shape of everything and just spawn down cubes and chunks. Man, imagine seeing multiple players doing all of this at once. Look at the okay, this is our first look at kind of chunk loading, it seems. Notice how the chunks are loading in the back there and slowly sort of filling up. Wow. We're seeing full-on cave systems here then as well, going right down to lava. We know that the block height is 320 blocks as well. Okay, I'm under the impression that I need to keep talking, but obviously this is brand new footage for all of us, so it's just exciting to watch it, I guess. Again, we can see sort of some of the rendering in the background there as the world sort of re-renders in and things load. Another similar structure over there in the background as well to the gameplay world we saw earlier, suggesting this is all sort of taking place in one static. Wow! Whoa! Look at that place! Look at that biome, some kind of autumn biome as they're placing down stones. That's crazy. All those trees look beautiful. Like, it's just a beautiful sort of autumnal forest. I'm pretty sure we have seen it before, like, sort of from a ground level, but we've never seen it from up close like that. Oh, wow. Look, just placing an upside-down cone on top of a regular cone and instant art. Beautiful. I'm sure this is what creative mode servers will be filled with, at least for the time being, as everyone sort of learns the building style and whatnot. In fact, it would be great to host a kind of mod jam myself, or a build competition very early on in Hytale's launch. That is something that I definitely am thinking about. Again, I'm building up a development team to work on projects that are going to be using all these tools and much more to create, hopefully, some of the best experiences in the Hytale ecosystem. Genuinely, that's where my passion is. Like, I'm a games designer through and through, and I love content creation as well. So making games that are playable and mini games and mods and maps and all of this different stuff that then also works as like really good YouTube content is something I'm super excited about. Okay, another chance to see sort of some of the different variations of thing you can place down. So obviously, like world edit brushes can be all sorts of different types of shapes and patterns. But it seems here like they've really sort of took it a step further and allowed each one to kind of intersect. So like here you can see that this is like initially they were placing a sort of cheese cube type block, and now they're using that cheese cube block to kind of mask over or edit the other things that they've placed. So this would be a really effective tool for maybe smoothing out or making cave systems or different surfaces that don't look overly world edited. Notice that was a cool little sound there when the item was used or when it was swapped over. Notice the cool little leaves falling there. That was pretty nice. Nice little just atmospheric details like that with the VFX. It's something that I'm really excited for. Just ambience in general in Hytale is going to be so fun to experience. Wow, okay, so looking at the legend here, it doesn't seem too hard either to use any of these brushes. They all seem very, very accessible, like just like left click and right click type stuff here. Bringing in stacks of 250 notice for sort of basic blocks. Oh wow, and then using those blocks effectively as a palette to decorate and texture. Very interesting, because yeah, it sees up there, you can see that he's set the materials for the texturing, so that'll just make it so easy, so integratable. You won't have to know like the exact block IDs, you won't have to enter this long command chain. It's all just there in the UI, and you can drag and drop them like that. It looks so accessible. People are gonna go nuts with this game, I'm telling you. I'm going from levels of like needing to calm down to like preserve my energy to like screaming again because I'm just so excited. But look at this, it's just using these tools and creating some amazing structures. I mean, I say amazing, obviously it's like kind of bare bones, like in terms of, you know, a cube is a cube at the end of the day, but just the potential here with these tools is very large. Like what people can create, if this is what like a few seconds of time you can get down on a map, or a few minutes of time you can get down on a map, just imagine how insane it's going to be. Wow. Okay, so we can see like a kind of gridding system here that helps place things, because yeah, one issue I always had with World Edit was that I'd right-click into the distance and I'd accidentally place like a cube somewhere 100 blocks away. And this is like a way to set like a kind of base grid, or a kind of vertical plane. Obviously, just putting high there just so easily like that, you'll be able to make text and write in sort of thin air. Man, this will make pixel art really easy as well, I imagine, just sort of being able to custom paint. I mean, you can literally paint the world. Like, you can paint in the world. Like, you just create some pixel art, similar to how you could, like, in anywhere, like Photoshop, or maybe not as complex as Photoshop, but especially, like, MS Paint and things like that. You're effectively getting those tools within the game world. Look, they're making a background here that's sort of, like, black and white, or just, oh, now fully black. Okay, cool. Just like that, just so easy and simple. And again, it's I know that people are going to go crazy for this. This might be not everyone's cup of tea. Some players, I get it. You just want to play the game. You just want to enjoy yourself, kill bosses, survive, grow a farm. But creative mode is going to allow people, especially mod makers and map makers and teams, to create some insane experiences that are, like, possibly in some cases leagues above the adventure experience, the base experience that they're working towards on the team itself. Like, for the official game. Wow, and you can actually change the axis. You can change the plane or whatever of the block grid, or the thing here. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of official terminology for this as we go on. I do want to make some guide videos myself and with the development team that I'm building. So I definitely will make sure to keep you guys updated as, you know, things sort of begin to fall into fashion and we start to get trends and terminology. But just look how easily the player here created this diagonal plane of blocks. Okay, brand new clip. Let's see what we're getting showcased here. Oh, okay, just dragging a giant plane to select it. Again, not needing to fly all the way over to the other end of the plane to select it there. You just drag and drop it with your hand. All right, getting rid of the grass. I assume maybe creating a quarry, perhaps? Soil, grass. Okay, just setting new grass. Okay, so this is kind of like, this is what you do if you want to create some flat land in your world for a new creation or a new build, perhaps. Okay, what's this? Oh, wow, okay. Just dragging and selecting sort of regions and using those. You can see the actual surfaces of the cubes of the region itself, and you can just sort of use them to drag and drop, which is, it's kind of funny. This is almost exactly how Blockbench works, and here we can see the chunks being defined, it seems, or at least the world height a little bit. But yeah, this is kind of functioning in a way similar to Blockbench, which they are partnered with now, and you'll be using the Blockbench app to create assets and stuff. Man, this is going to be incredible. I know people are looking at this and it is easy to, again, see these as cubes and think, okay, how could this actually translate into something? But I am telling you, within week 1, we're going to get some of the craziest creations in this game that I think no one is prepared to see. Genuinely, I think that the community is going to go wild. The developers, the mod makers, asset designers, all of those people in between. And even just regular players, the fact that anyone can just pick these tools up and use them to create this kind of stuff. Like, this isn't groundbreaking. The things that are happening in this footage are things that I think, like, even little kids would do, right? Like this is stuff that you would just sort of instantly think of doing when you pick up these tools and see sort of roughly what they can do. And so to think when people start getting more complex and start layering the use of the tools all together, I'm so excited for the potential here. The potential of Hytale, which ironically, you know, was the title for my first ever video. Man, this is so exciting. Okay, so using the drag tool, like being able to like actually stack and expand the different regions as well is super useful. The fact that it's visual as well in World Edit, I always had to kind of guess like roughly where how many blocks I was going to expand upwards or downwards or to the left. Here it actually seems very clear before you even sort of select the edit that this is the size of the edit, right? So like you sort of get some foresight into some of the edits you want to make, which is pretty important, I think, as far as accessibility goes and as far as avoiding frustration. Okay, so we're going back into the world gen. We're looking at some mine shafts now and some plants. What are we going to click on here? Rock formations. Yep, okay. Ooh, look, so we've got crystals, a crystal prefab. Okay, let's see what this is going to look like. Wow, okay, interesting. Okay, so this kind of looks like something we may see in like Zone 3, like one of the ice zones, maybe one of the icy caves or something like that. This could even be in the Zone 4 caves, which we've seen that have like all the colorful plants and the different glowing gems and whatnot. Okay, so here we see the player just sort of placing them down, just enjoying themselves, just having a whale of a time, as we all are going to do in Hytale. Ah, man. I am so excited for this. Again, this is a great video as well because it kind of allows me to just fill the air with some of my thoughts and talk to you guys on a real level without a script for the first time in a while. You know, obviously I can't commentate on every individual edit that is happening here. I'll go through all the main things in the video tomorrow. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching this channel so far. I'm not ending, it's not the end of the video yet, don't worry. But thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching the content so far. And, you know, just enjoying this experience. And even if you're brand new here and sort of coming along for the ride, I hope that you appreciate this game for what it's going to be. And maybe you don't think that it looks too great. I hope that you have a little bit of optimism that it can benefit from updates in the future and from a really passionate community that wants to mod this game. I mean, I'm telling you, day one mods I think are going to really go crazy. I already know people, many of my friends actually, that are making asset packs and different mods that they want to release when the game drops. I will have a video just sort of clarifying all of the different details as well around the kind of marketplace ecosystem. It won't actually be a marketplace, but the creator ecosystem and the server browsers and the different modding ways that you can kind of host mods and download mods yourself to use. All of that I'll make sure to specify in a video upcoming. Just look at how many you can place here. This is great. And by the way, notice that there's not been any lag. With all of this placement, I don't think that I've seen any lag whatsoever. Obviously, I imagine the team's computers are, you know, pretty highly spec'd out, but we will have some more information on the minimum specs required to run the game. And obviously, as more players get into early access, we'll start to learn really what pushes the game to its limits and what we're able to do. But it seems so optimized right now. I mean, just look at that. The speed of which it's just click and press. And I know that in other games that's fairly simple and you see that all the time. But like in a voxel game, it's great to see. Like just in this form, it's not very often we see an optimized voxel game that is just this efficient at doing what it does. Man, all of these placement noises, they're so satisfying. The Foley artist that worked on all of these noises, I believe was Kieran Fitzpatrick. I don't know if they've got other Foley artists and music designers and sound designers on the team. Obviously, Oscar Garvin works on the actual soundtrack. So, yeah, shout out to Kieran Fitzpatrick, I guess. I'm looking to the side here, and also I believe I'm just like randomly not noticing a Kweebec village that's there, which looked actually pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go back. Obviously, there's just so much happening, and there's a whole creative blog post to break down. So we will go through all the Easter eggs and details and anything that, you know, maybe be wandering around in the background here. But yeah, there are some Kweebec villages that we finally actually get to see. There's a Kweebec standing over there in the background. Oh wow, okay. This is gonna be a fun week, guys. I feel like this is gonna probably be at least 3 or 4 videos worth of content that I need to cover here. Man, so just so many things, like even stuff that I'm not particularly sure what's happening. It seems like a ruler tool or some kind of way of measuring the block distance so that you don't have to, you know, just tell by sight or go counting block by block. You can just measure the distances. Man, that's so useful. Yeah, like why have I never even thought about that? Like just a simple ruler tool for counting your blocks and for figuring out dimensions. Man, people are gonna get so technical with this game. I'm just thinking, like, using this when you're designing, like, a mini-game or an adventure map, just knowing the block distances and be able to calculate that stuff. I think people can get so detailed with this just because of how accessible all of the tools are. I don't even think the team probably realized how like half of these things can be combined and used. There's probably so many ways that you can do it. I can almost be sure of the fact that the community is going to figure out ways to use these tools that the team haven't even thought about yet. Wow, and just like that, you can create a region or like just measure a bunch of distances or a pathway between all these blocks. Just so click and drag and interactive, and it's just like, you know, you're interacting here with blocks that seem like 50, 100 blocks away, and they're just like, the responsiveness is just that quick. A little smiley face there, that's brilliant. That's good to see. Ooh, what's that? Oh, this must be the laser pointer, I believe. So you can use this now to, I guess, show parts of the world. So just imagine you had a build team of 10 people, maybe even 20 people, all collaborating on a project. You can probably use this laser tool to actually, you know, kind of ping out specific things in the area. Say if you're designing an adventure map, you can kind of, you know, point to specific mobs or specific locations where you want things to happen, especially when we've heard that they're working on prox chat. Like, so you're going to be able to hear people in game and talk with your friends and your team members. So imagine that plus using this laser pointer to coordinate. It's going to make team building just one of the most easiest things to do in this game. I can see groups of friends making build teams, groups of friends making mod teams. All of that, I think, is going to be just really excelled by these tools. I mean, I knew that they had creative tools, and I think everyone did. Like, you know, they've not shied away from explaining that to us, but to the extent like this, where it just sort of looks so good, I don't think we could ever really have visualized it. I mean, just look at that. Just being on the fly, able to change and manipulate the size of the brush. Are we going to see any water physics? We don't see any water physics here, which is very interesting. That is very, very interesting. So, no flowing water, it seems, potentially in this world gen. But it could just be that water flow is turned off for the purposes of this video, or because they're still working on it and testing it out. But that is an interesting thing to note. As Qatar or Qatar just like slowly destroys the world here and just causes craters everywhere. Just setting it to soil grass again, creating a nice flat plane. Man, things look smooth. I mean, like, the lighting has a ways to go, I think. It definitely, in some areas, feels quite flat. But I don't mind it. And that's that for the for that video. Okay, brilliant. Of course we get Slammer's lo-fi after that. Okay, the next piece of footage we get is the creative mode quick settings panel, which allows you to quickly edit your creative mode settings like flight speed, inertia, and more. It also expands and changes depending on the item in your hand to allow you to have even more customizability of your tools. Okay, and here we can see the video of that. Just a very quick 6-second clip of that UI there that we saw in the video. Then we get a little bit of footage, 36 seconds of the help menu, which just goes into all of the different things that you can actually do. So actually, we won't really need too many guides, it seems. I mean, we probably will still need people making some YouTube guides on the more complicated stuff, but we can actually see all of the things here are kind of explained with their own tutorials and screenshots and whatnot. So that's very, very useful to see. We also see a little bit of a mob running around in the background, but Connor, stop trying to break down and analyze. That's for the next video. This is just a raw reaction. Okay. Now we have this video. So this is a castle build, creative mode time lapse. Okay, so let's get into this. Man, so this is the first... Okay, I need to turn this down a little bit. This is the first time we're seeing multiple people all working on a project together, building in the game. You can see that this is either a time lapse that is going very quickly or multiple people are working here. Look, you saw the laser pointer working there for a second. Just for a very slight second, they're using the laser pointer, it seems, in conversation. Man, and just look at it slowly come together. So the texturing going in, using like very specifically going for one block at a time, decorating style. You see all the avatars floating around there in creative mode, just, wow. This is brilliant, seeing a time lapse like this. People are going to go absolutely nuts for this footage, I'm sure of it. See some deers in the background there as well. Putting some, ooh, white trees with white leaves. Very interesting. I wonder if that's a mod or if that's in a base game biome somewhere. It could be the ghost trees, I think, maybe from the kind of ghost-looking biome where we've seen ghost towns wander. And look, you see the ambient lighting there coming from some of the plant blocks. No doubt there'll be a bunch of those in creative mode for you to actually use to light up your scenery. Man, just look how easy it is. I think it's like maybe 3 players here at most that are going around and doing all of this. Imagine a team of 20 people all working together, building like some huge medieval town or an adventure map that's set in like a sort of modded fantasy world of some kind. Okay, so we've seen the environment being created. Now it looks like they're working on the actual castle itself. So adding a bit more specificity to the blocks that they're going to be using on the walls. Seems like they've got roofing. So obviously we know that there are different roofing blocks in Hytale. But they're still using stairs and just like standard blocking here. Okay, no, they're going through now, adding slabs, stairs, smoothing things out, so to speak. Which again is them sort of giving us a little bit of a guide on how to approach building. You know, it's a big complex thing in Hytale, a lot more complex than in other games. So I do think that just sort of abiding by how the team's workflow here seems to be laid out is a good idea. Obviously they went through and sort of color blocked every part, the roofs and the walls and the shape, but now they're going through and adding details, saying where would a window fit, where would the ledges be more steep and be more smooth. Honestly, this is so exciting to see. And again, in the background, we're sort of seeing sort of unfiltered, raw, just mobs wandering around in a time lapse, which again, we've never seen before. Again, we just, it's too much. I've got to take a drink of my tea here, but pardon me. Oh, that is nice. Okay, so not only have they added ambient lighting, but it seems like they've added firefly particle effects to the area, almost like specific blocks. Oh, and now it's gone. Okay, so maybe it's just a nighttime thing that those fireflies appear. You've got the blue fires, so obviously you can configure fire color. And the ambient lighting looks great with all those plants down below. I think that might be repurposed scarab eggs, but I could be wrong. Wow. And so just like that, we've got a whole, gosh, 17 minutes plus this 3-minute video. We have got, wait, no, 27 minutes. So we've just got 30 minutes of gameplay footage in one day. I cannot believe that that's happened. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your patience with me. Again, make sure to check out all the links in the description. Watch for the next video. I really appreciate it. Thanks as always, guys. Stay safe and keep free.